This is a cemetery in the village, and this is where my father got buried. In the same few months that my father passed away, my grandmother and both of my grandfathers had also passed away. It was an incredibly dark period, but it was also incredibly enlightening. We say rest in peace, and we can't exactly be sure how that works, but we can surely have full control of that before it. So this video is a checklist of the things I genuinely believe you need to sort out before life here comes to an end. Not from the perspective of fear, but from the perspective of clarity. Because the truth is, most people live as if life is permanent. They delay the conversation, the dream, the healing. They delay becoming who they know they're supposed to be. I know this video starts at a very dark place, but I promise you, this is not a depressing video. In fact, my goal is quite the opposite. By the end of this video, I want at least one idea, one realization, or one uncomfortable truth to hit you deeply enough that you decide to change something about your life today. Before we go into the video, the reality of death tends to paralyze weak minds. It makes people say, nothing matters, so why try? That is a trap. The realization that your time is finite shouldn't make you quit the game. It should make you play it with absolute intensity. Because we aren't here to mourn the end. We're here to optimize the middle. Your emotional state shapes your entire life more than people realize. A lot of people think they're thinking clearly when in reality, they're just emotionally reacting. Robert Greene once described emotions as physical reactions happening in the body that the mind later turns into a story. And if that's true, then one of the most important things you can do before your world comes to an end is learn how to manage your inner state. Because anxiety can become addictive, depression can become addictive, right? Chaos can become addictive. Even sadness, these things can slowly start creeping up on you and becoming part of your identity. Some people are not protecting their peace because they no longer know who they are without the stress. So before your time runs out, ask yourself, are you living from a place of wisdom or emotional habit? Let's put this into action. Before you go to sleep today, sit in silence for 10 minutes and observe what emotions rise to the top. Next, you got to take care of the body that carries you. Like for me, as someone who was overweight all my life, even facing bullying when I was young. Fun story is I actually knocked out my bully when I was in 5th grade. But that's another story for another time. But I mean, if you really think about it, it's true. Like ambitious people really do treat their body like machines. No sleep, too much stress, constant stimulation, too much caffeine, no recovery, no silence. And I'm someone who's a victim of this, you know, like when you put on that entrepreneurial mode. And I think Gary Vee popularized this the most when he talks about hustle culture is, you know, you're always on this action mode, right? All the time. And sleep, who cares about sleep? What matters is that I get shit done. But one day the system does crash. We are human beings, not robots, because the body keeps score. And some people even lose their lives suddenly. Others lose them slowly from exhaustion, burnout, anxiety, and disconnection from their true selves. So I think one thing that we can both agree on is before the end of your world, right? And I'm going to do all of these too, by the way. Let's ask ourselves, did you build a life your nervous system can actually survive? Because there's no point in building a beautiful future if your body is too broken to experience it. Let's put this into action. Cancel one unnecessary obligation this week and replace it with an hour of sleep, sunlight, or anything that would lead to a complete mental recovery. Next is your brand world versus your personal brand. There's a trap here. When it comes to personal branding, a lot of people think that it's all about you. Like, look at me and my story and what I do and my values, my beliefs. It is that, but that at a high dose can become narcissism very quickly. A real personal brand, in my opinion, it's not just a personal brand, but a brand world, an entire world around who you are and what you associate with. It's a set of beliefs. It's your tone. It's a visual language. It's a community. It's a feeling people enter when they come into your world. So before the end of your world, ask, did I build attention around myself, or did I build a world that helped people see themselves more clearly? And that's the difference between ego branding and legacy branding. Your thoughts on
I'll smack you in the face. Thank you, حبيباتي. Love you guys. Inshallah, a huge celebration.
We blow out the candles. We laugh. We celebrate the passing of another year.
This is because they sent me to get the cake by myself. There's no Christmas.
He's a loser. يعني مش ظابطة معه ولا أي شيء.
It's beautiful, in all honesty. But let's not romanticize too much, because every birthday is just a countdown. So most people avoid thinking about death, but death is the only deadline at the end of the day. It's the only deadline that matters. You can't optimize your life properly if you pretend that it lasts forever. When you have a deadline in perspective, then suddenly everything becomes a lot more clear for you, what you need to do before you get to that destination. And actually, death gives us urgency. It gives us urgency to do the right things. It asks, are you spending your life trying to impress people? Or are you spending your life becoming someone you respect? And it's funny because we say rest in peace, right? And that's the thing that I think about when someone passes away. We tell them rest in peace. And we can't be sure about what happens after they pass away. But what we can be sure about, and what we do have control over, is we can definitely live in peace. We can live in peace by telling the truth sooner, by creating something meaningful, by being forgiving, by making better decisions, by not waiting until loss teaches us what matters. And I think this is something that we can all relate to. We've all had someone very close to us that we've lost, and then it kind of like gives us this wake-up call. But that's one thing to keep in mind. Next is your family legacy, and this is probably one of the most important ones, because you don't want to arrive at the end of the road by yourself. You want to have people that care for you and love you, and it can include your friends. But this is very human, because not everyone needs to become famous. Not everyone needs to build a huge empire, but at minimum, your existence should mean something to the people closest to you. Your daughter, your family, your friends. These are the people who carry your name in their memories. And that's what legacy is all about, right? It starts at home. It starts with the decisions that you make now and the people that you surround yourself with that help propel you to that next level. And a big part of it is trust and service and compromise, because no, personal branding, like a part of it is about me. But there's a very big part of it that's about them. It's about giving value and building that network and really being a person of service. So the question to ask is, what will these people inherit from you? Is it stress? Is it survival? Unfinished dreams? You want them to inherit something of finesse. You want them to inherit a type of wisdom from you. Discipline, stories, values, emotional safety, a better name, a better path. Something that they can take and run on with, like a torch, a flame with it, like the one that they use for the Olympics. You want to pass the torch on to someone else and they can carry on your legacy for you. And that, in my opinion, is one of the best and most meaningful ways to live your life. So I just dropped my wife off at her mom's place. It got me thinking, especially in relationships. Sometimes there's things that you want to say that you don't actually end up expressing, and it can haunt you for the rest of your life. And the same goes for your losses as well. Because ultimately, one of the cruelest parts about loss is the unfinished conversation. The apology you delayed, the gratitude you never showed, the love you assumed people already knew about. I mean, as you know, I've had my fair share of losses, right? The older I get, the more I realize death has a brutal way of exposing emotional procrastination. People rarely regret not working harder. So if there's someone that you need to call them. If there's someone that you need to forgive them. If there's something honest that you need to say or something you need to get off your chest, say it before life decides for you that the conversation is over. We can take action on this by sending just one message that we've been emotionally postponing, even if it is as short as just one sentence. Social media is complicated because on one hand, it gives people a voice, it allows people to build a business, create opportunities, and connect with people all around the world. In today's world, having an online presence matters. Whether we like it or not, your digital footprint has become part of your identity. Your work, your perspective, your reputation, they all live online now. But the danger begins when you stop using social media as a tool and start allowing it to use you. Because the problem is not visibility. It's manipulation. Think about what happens every time you scroll. It trains your desires, shapes your comparisons, rewards performance, and slowly teaches people to confuse attention with worth. Back in 2018, I launched a project called Where Is My Universe, which was all about self-discovery through poetry and art. Within that brand, we had a highlight called Angels. And every few days, a member of the community would share a message, a truth, something they wanted to communicate with the world. We would take that message and preserve it in Instagram highlights. At the time, we were trying to protect the human element online, a corner of the internet that felt honest, less performance, less ego. But years later, you can clearly see how social media evolved. Most platforms no longer reward content that nourishes the soul. They reward content that captures attention the fastest. You know, we're talking shock, we're talking drama, we're talking validation, addiction. And over time, people subconsciously start asking themselves questions they were never meant to ask in the first place. Am I successful enough? Am I confident enough? Am I attractive enough? Interesting, relevant enough? Eventually, many people stop building a life that's actually valuable but looks valuable online. And that's the trap, because the algorithm can tell you what gets clicks, but it can't tell you what deserves your life force. It can't tell you who to become. It can't tell you what peace feels like. And it definitely can't tell you what will matter when your life comes to an end. So yes, build your online presence. Share your work. Market yourself. Create opportunities. Use the internet as leverage. But don't allow the machine to reshape your identity in exchange for temporary attention. Because at the end of the day, by the time your life comes to an end, the only thing that will matter is your ability to remain human in a system designed to train people into performers. Let's put this into action as well. Spend an hour this week and create something without sharing it or showing anyone the process. Ultimately, my friend, the reality of death shouldn't paralyze you. It should liberate you and force you to stop playing small and stop oversharing for validation and start building something that outlasts you. Make that space for yourself today. Recover, focus, and resume attacking your purpose with a passion. And if you've enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate you liking it. You've made it this far, which means that you're a true rock star. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel in order to follow along the journey, and be sure to watch this video. You're not going to want to miss it.